All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our monthly meeting of One Piece. Let's go ahead and get started because we don't have too many chapters to go over, so this conversation won't carry on as long as it did last month. But that being said, let's begin. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Welcome back to yet another One Piece Reflections where I, at the end of every month, go over all the chapters of One Piece that we get within a month. During this month of October, we see basically the insanity that is the God Valley incident. We've witnessed events in last month where Shaki is rescued by Rayleigh and their genuine love for each other is shown, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But October showed the fury and insanity of this event with the combination of the Rocks Pirates, Roger Pirates, and all other pirates who decided to join in on this insanity, all coming together, and they're just basically wreaking havoc. And I'm noticing that my camera is focusing for some reason. Kitten 1, it is good to see you. We only had 2 chapters in this month, chapters 1162 and 1163. This upcoming Sunday, since we are not on break, we will be having 1164. Just had to double check and make sure that everything's good and no lag. But my camera was resetting itself. But Kitten 1, I hope your day has been good today. Yeah, it was autofocusing. Yeah, I don't need it doing that. Especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of hand gestures. I don't need it to be doing that at all. But in October, we essentially had just craziness. And the last chapter that we got for this month spelled some crazy stuff for the Rocks Pirates, and the events that would change the lives of every big name pirate that appeared there at God Valley. So, with chapter 1162, God Valley Battle Royale, it's basically just giving us a lineup of like who's where. Rocks is versus Garling, and he's fighting in one section of the island. The Roger Pirates and Roger are making their way towards the center, along with the Rocks Pirates making their way towards the center as well. Rayleigh is still carrying Shaki and getting her out of there. All these other pirates are fighting each other because the pirates want to take Shaki, and you have the Rocks Pirates fighting the Roger Pirates, but they're also fighting other pirates to keep them from harming Shaki, because it's Shaki. No one wants anything bad to happen to Shaki. So Shiki's beating up on some pirates, Whitebeard's beating up on some pirates. Shaki is happy that she gets to be carried by Rayleigh because she loves Rayleigh. And saying like Rocky. Rayleigh says, Shaki, there's something I need to say to you. And Shaki says, don't say it, I already know. And that just cements their relationship right then and there. Hold on, let me see what you said. I gotta move my controller out of here. It's been okay, your frog passed? Oh, we heard. Sorry about that. Lord Frogmore, I believe his name was. Yes, a moment of silence for Lord Frogmore. Hope all is well with you. Of course, everything's well with me. I'm streaming. I'm giving you guys some fun today. I couldn't ask for a better day. And also, happy Halloween to those who celebrate it. I myself don't celebrate Halloween, but I get the festivities. And for those who do, happy Halloween to you too. So, they're running, and then it's splicing in sections that we got from Kuma's flashback, where Kuma and Ivankov have the devil fruits that one Kaido would later have, and then the pawpaw fruit that Kuma would later use in his life. So while they're there, they get assaulted by Big Mom. She grabs the fish fruit. Kuma runs away and eats the pawpaw fruit and uses that opportunity in order to save all these people. You get all of these different fighters fighting against like Kyo the Hitman. You get Stussy, she's fighting. You get Barbell, he's fighting. Everybody is fighting basically everybody. And all these explosions and insanities happening, and you have Garp and Bogard making their way going like, hey, Sengoku, did you know this was happening? And Sengoku was telling him there was one man who reported some rumors, but he vanished from the Navy ranks. And I thought it would be Dragon, but I thought, no, that doesn't make sense because Dragon is there, and he hasn't disappeared yet. So someone within the Navy had this information, but they suddenly disappeared. With Garp going, if I ain't awake and dreaming, then it's all real. And then it cuts to Eris, who we see being carried by her husband, Rox. And she also has Teach as well. And he's running from the Holy Knights and what appears to be people who have been turned into demons. And the people who have been turned into demons happen to be other members of the Davy family, including Rox's very own father and grandmother. So they've been Domi reversied, and now they're pursuing their own relative, but they have no control over their actions. They've just been turned into subservient servants, being chased by Garling and another member of the God Knights. And he's carrying his wife trying to get away, while Garling clearly showing that Rox knows advanced applications of Conqueror's Hockey. The more advanced it's crazy. We always thought that the advanced applications of Conqueror's Hockey would be combining Conquerors with your own physical attacks, and that would give you that extra oomph when it comes to your attacks, as we saw back in Wano. But it turns out there's an even higher level of advanced Conqueror's Hockey due to the fact that it enables a user to effectively harm a person who would normally be invulnerable to damage, because it clearly shows here that Garling has a massive gash going through his shoulder and a massive gash going straight through his face and head, and he's not regenerating as quickly. He feels this attack. His head is literally, physically split open, but it's not capable of instantly regenerating in this moment, and he feels that. And Garling acknowledges that Rox is very strong. He's strong, no doubt. The wounds he's inflicted will take longer to regenerate. And then the other person that's with Garling, whose name we still don't know, but now we know that he's one of the Davy clan. The Great One will be delighted if we can take him out, referring to Emu, of course. Yes, the game is ruined, but this is a stroke of luck. And Eris is screaming at her husband to let her down. Let me down, Zebek. Do you really think you can hold them off one-handed? Listen, Eris, anyone with the Davy name who gets caught will be put through agony that makes hell itself seem like a lukewarm bath. And she's all like, I know that. I'm part of the Davy clan now, too. They welcomed me among them even though I was a pirate. I understand the fate of the clan, so let me down. And she, holding her own son, holding Blackbeard, future Blackbeard, jumps off of her husband and goes, if I was the kind of helpless woman who could only cling to you and couldn't protect a single child, then you wouldn't have fallen in love with me, would you? And, Rox gets flustered from this. Don't be an idiot. If it looks like they're going to catch me, then I'll kill... If it looks like they're going to catch me, I'll kill Teach and end my own life. So let's find a way to survive and we can meet again in Lelusia. And Garling fully starts to heal from this attack from Rox, and he goes, he's finally relinquished his wife and son. So, how shall I attack? Why? And then Rox goes, why am I the one getting cheered up? And Rox just takes one swing, and pretty much cleaves a portion of the island. Just straight up cleaves a portion of the island, making it so that the Holy Knights have to focus on him. Stay here with me, I insist. Now come and do your worst, you monsters. And he says that with a smile on his face, so he really is a D. Wait, who else just showed up here? Ah, Baloo Ark, it's good to see you. Ayo! Good to see you. So while Eris is running away with Teach, Teach looks on. And then we cut to the primary prize treasury, and Big Mom is laughing, going, well, this one should do fine. It's the fish fruit. I'll give this one to Katakuri. It'll be a major new power-up for my future pirate crew. And while Big Mom is laughing to herself, happy that she got a very powerful devil fruit in her hands, Kaido comes in and smacks the living mess out of her. Literally, takes his Kanabo, which is spiked, by the way, and hits her and just slams her, just swings and hits her face, knocking the fish fruit into the air, which, while Big Mom is reeling from that, she looks over and sees Kaido chomp down on the fruit and Big Mom falling away from him. And when she gets back up, Kaido has this very, very smug look on her face, and then Big Mom curses Kaido and proceeds to start to fight him. So, all this time, when Big Mom says you owe me a life debt, I got the fish fruit for you, And it really turns out that she's been holding on to the fact that Kaido actually stole the fruit from her. A lot of us, including myself, thought that she willingly gave that devil fruit to Kaido. But no, he took it for himself. Because ever since Whitebeard had the Gura Gura no Mi, the Quake fruit, Kaido was all like, I want to get a devil fruit too. So it's like a childish, he has something. I want something too. I kind of want that. Yo, Shonen Sensei! It's good to see you. Currently discussing chapter 1162, and we'll move on to 1163. Then we'll discuss where we think the story can go. Because the next chapter of One Piece doesn't officially drop until Sunday. I thought Big Mom had a mode for children. She does, when they're only of a certain age. The age of Ivankov and the age of Kuma are simply too old for her to just look at her in a childish sort of way. So her attacking Kuma and Ivankov does literally nothing. Like if she were a child, she wouldn't touch you. Nope, no. Let me correct you. Only if you're of a certain age, like the age of Tama from Wano, like little itty bitty child. Not like 10 years old or even 7 years old. You need to be like a small child that she can just fully baby up. Kuma was way too old for that, and Ivankov was way too old for that. So it's specifically small children. Small, cute children. That's the only time that it works. Anybody else, she pretty much just straight up ignores. Because, yeah. Given the fact that she choke-slammed both Ivankov and tried to kill Kuma, yeah, there's a certain limit to the ages that she can reach. So, while that's going on, Big Mom curses Kaido, and then we have Dragon who's carrying Shanks. And he's carrying Shanks going, don't worry, I won't let you die. I won't let them kill you. And then it cuts to Eris who's going, I won't let them kill you, Teach. Then we get to behind the game stage. We get to behind the game stage and the secondary prize treasury. And we have all the Roger Pirates going like, found the treasure. And there's like tons and tons of it. And more than likely, all of the combined tributes of different nations that have come around and have essentially just given them all of this money. And the Roger Pirates have just ran on that. Have to go, please have fun. You have fun for the rest of your day as well, Kitten One. You enjoy yourself. So the Roger Pirates get the treasure and they start to haul it off. And then Gabin starts filing Ganjui. And then we get some Vice Admirals going, don't let those pirates leave the island. And then we get Garp going, so what is justice on an island where everything's gone crazy? And then we get some citizens who have made it to the edge of God Valley, and they're asking the Navy to help them, who are on the shore. It's the world government's Navy, please rescue us! And then the Navy gets a notification of God Valley is unaffiliated with the government. Therefore, and the Navy opened fires on the citizens themselves. Since this place is unaffiliated, these people are not considered people. They are considered obstacles. And what better way to get rid of an obstacle that's in your way than to blow it up? So I cannot wait. I am telling you, I cannot wait for the downfall of the world government. It is going to be one of the most satisfying downfalls of an organization I have ever seen in media. I can't wait. Because this is not a humane thing to do. And the fact that the people at the top, the Celestial Dragons, the Gorosei, they set the precedent of, hey, if they're not affiliated with the world government, they're insects. You can do whatever you want with them. That is so wrong. It hasn't even been 45 minutes yet. Why are you trying to tell me to hydrate and stretch? I haven't sat down that long. So, it will never happen. The downfall of the world government will never happen. Right. It will never happen, Emu says. Okay, so include that in the sentence. Making me think that you're saying that the world government will never fall. Include the Emu says in the sentence. You had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. You had me in the first half. But while this is going on, we cut to Kuma going, I want to save as many of these people as I possibly can. And then we get Emu speaking to Saturn, who's currently presiding over these events, going, Saturn is Rockstead. And he says, I could not say, this is all so unexpected. If anything, there is a danger that such wanton destruction might bring about the birth of something entirely new. And while that's happening, Kaido is fully embracing his dragon power and flying into the air for the first time, and everyone is just seeing him, both pirate and navy alike. Then Emu says, this must not happen. So we get to Kuma, who's rescuing people. Thank you, Kuma, you're a hero. Save your breath, just hurry. Anywhere that's not here will be heaven compared to this. And while these people are crying and being thankful for Kuma, Kuma is just poofing them away, just over and over and over again. Even Ginny is just crying over how beautiful this is. Then, while people are saying thank you, an enormous amount of haki is emitted from the entire island that Roger, Garp, and Rox all feel. Then we get the trademark silhouetted spider legs of Saturn in his Gyuki form. And we get members of the Rox, Roger Pirates going, Rox is crew captain. No, wait, we've got bigger fish to fry. And then it cuts to Rox, who basically bodied all of the Holy Knights. Well, he not only bodied the Holy Knights, but he also had to essentially butcher his family. He had to butcher his dad, and he had to kill his grandma because they were turned into demons. You dare use my family against me? If this is going to be my end, of course I'll fight to kill. And it shows that he is standing over Garling, who he has soundly beaten. That just tells you how busted Rox is. He beat someone who is essentially immortal. He beat someone who can regenerate themselves instantly. And Garling is laying there bleeding from the nose and mouth at Rox's mercy. Do you realize how busted you have to be for you to be able to regenerate from every single injury that befalls you, including and not limited to dismemberment, decapitation, and bisection, and all these sorts of things that remove limb from body, and for you to be beaten by someone who lacks that advantage? Kaido was right, and I keep bringing this up. Every single time we see someone powerful like Rox pop up, Kaido's words of only haki can transcend all, it literally keeps ringing true. Because some of the most powerful people that we have been noticing throughout the series ever since we got into the New World, we have seen increasing amounts of just how strong haki actually is. Yes, we got devil fruits that transcend reality. Yes, we have devil fruits that are capable of harnessing the elements to almost an unlimited degree. Yes, we have devil fruits that basically bend the laws of physics, and yet haki transcends them all, because you cannot survive in the world of One Piece unless you got it, or you're close to someone who does. So Garling is just left reeling from this, and then it cuts to Rox standing there with Kaido and Whitebeard going, there's nothing in it for you. Sure you want to help? Whitebeard going, don't worry about it, I've been drinking on your tab this whole time. Then we have Kaido, who's just enjoying flying around. Hey you two, check this out. Whoa, I've finally gotten my own power to use. I want to test out my new strength. Good for you. As far as I can tell, you're having the most fun of anyone right now. Vo ha 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 ha. But Whitebeard goes, that's all well and good, but can I ask what in the world that is? And here, we have the monster trio before Roger, Rayleigh, and Gabin. We have Whitebeard, we have Rox, Kaido, and Whitebeard. That's the Rox's era monster trio. Whitebeard, Rox, and Kaido. Saint Saturn, why do you look like that? Ah, a monster! And we have Garp who's witnessing that something is happening to Saturn, and Emu is involved. Now I know I'm dreaming. What is this island? And then Roger going, what grand days of adventure we live in. I still have so much to learn. Then we have Rocks going, what is that you say? If I had to call it anything, that represents the world. And that's how we end chapter 1162. There is so much going on. Roger fighting, but making its way to the center of the island. The Rocks pirates fighting amongst they're just casually fighting other members of the Roger pirates and also fighting other regular pirates who stand no chance. Rocks trying to get his wife and son away, but stays behind in order to allow Eris and Teach to escape, and he faces off against the Holy Knights and proceeds to just body all of them. Body all of them. And then we have Kaido getting his hands on the fish fruit, gaining that dragon power he would use later on in life to extremely proficient degree. And then we have Emu, who appears to be taking over Saturn because all this destruction that's happening on God Valley has the potential of birthing something entirely new, and that something entirely new is something that Emu does not want to allow at all. Not only that, but of course we have Kuma and Ivankov helping people escape. So that's something that's happening. But 1163 is where the crux and almost the climax of what's about to happen here on God Valley commences. So, in chapter 1163, Promise, we have the moment where Emu has taken over Saturn's body, essentially covered his body in shadow, and from that shadow is apparently capable of manipulating the shadow to create extra appendages on top of Saturn that have been used to basically stab both pirate and Navy soldiers alike. And it's just indiscriminate. It is basically killing everybody around them. And everyone's all like, whose side is that thing on? Nobody's side. And they're all running. And then it cuts to another captain going, all units withdraw, keep your distance, do not attack, secure an escape route. Then we get Roger going, hey, get up, guys. Ow, it hurts, but it's so fascinating. Some people have been hurt by Emu, but it's not giving like that same disposition towards suffering a wound. It's like, oh, I've been harmed, but I'm actually kind of interested in learning more about why I got harmed. I find it interesting. I find it fascinating. So Roger's all like, what are you talking about? Can't believe what it did to my crew. Gavin, give these guys backup. Take some treasure and split. Not again. You better not get yourself in trouble. Because they know. They know. And this sort of mentality would persist through Roger's life, because this is the same mentality he will have when he first encountered Odin. Then we get Garp screaming, what's going on here? What is that monster? I don't know. Saint Saturn just started transforming before our eyes. The 5 elders, huh? Never seen them before. Looks about right for the kind of freak who'd sit atop those maggots. And Garp don't mince words. Garp does not mince words at all. He don't care. He don't care if you're a member of the Godosei. He don't care if you're literally the king of the world. Emu, he doesn't care, because he's just so strong that no one is capable of telling him, no, you're wrong, shut up. No one is able to subdue Garp to make him actually shut up, because he's still going to do what he wants. So everyone else who cowers before the higher-ups goes, Vice Admiral Garp, Ixnay on the Endersley! Then we get Rocks, who's staring down Emu possessing Saturn, going, hey you, king of the bilge rats, you're here to kill me, aren't you? And then Emu, with their holier-than-thou way of speaking, just goes, so it was thee, Davy Jones. You got the wrong guy. I've never even met him. I never even met him. However, promises are meant to be kept, which is exactly why thy kind must be erased from history. Can Garp take down a Godosei 1v1? What do I think? I think he could. I honestly think he could. He lacks the chill necessary to be worried about his position when it comes to this sort of things due to what he does in this particular chapter. I honestly feel like Garp could 1v1 a member of the Godosei. He is just that strong. Everyone else out here using devil fruits, all the Godosei got devil fruits and everything, and they got insurmountable strength, but this man been using battleships, decommissioned battleships as his own personal punching bags, and he does it without using his haki at all, so that means his strength is just literally beyond reasoning. It's when he adds haki that he becomes the literal demon that all pirates fear. And even in his older age, when he gets to Pirate Island to rescue Kobe, and the fact that his punch can nuke a town at his age, and the only disappointment he gets from it is that, there's still some buildings left. I must be off my game. Literally means that while he's at this age, and then becomes at the peak of his age, what I think is like either his 30s or his 40s, that man was capable of so much physical destruction just from his own strength. No devil fruits required. So yes, I think he would be able to take on a Godosei member 1v1 if he wanted to. This man looked at Akainu like he was ready to kill him. You remember? The man who can cover himself in magma that is capable of not only swallowing fire, but also capable of clashing with Whitebeard's Quake fruit. Garp looked at that man during the Marineford War like, I'm going to kill you. And given what we know of Garp's strength, he is fully capable of killing Akainu. No problem. We've seen what this man can do, and he has no devil fruit powers, and his only method of fighting is punching things into submission. If he wanted to kill Akainu, he could have. That's the reason why Sengoku, who Roger acknowledges as someone worthy of his time, that's the reason why only Sengoku could hold down Garp that way, because I believe anybody else wouldn't have been able to do that. Because Sengoku is up there with Garp in strength. That's the thing! So only Sengoku saved Akainu's life. In his older age! So yeah, I think Garp would have... I wouldn't even say what, Akainu can melt his haki. That's not how haki works. And we've clearly seen that haki is capable of nullifying devil fruit powers. I mean, if that was the case, then Akainu would have been able to melt through Shanks' sword, but he didn't. And it's not because Shanks' sword is impervious to lava, because we've seen multiple weapons get melted by Akainu when he was going after Luffy. So Akainu's devil fruit really doesn't matter much to an individual who has high levels of haki mastery. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, that literally means nothing now, okay? Let's be honest here. No amount of Logia of Devil Fruit powers are capable of surpassing haki unless the haki user's level is too low. So, yeah, it wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't matter. Because even Kuzan, when he was fighting Garp, he was capable of freezing Garp, but it didn't last. Because all it took was just Garp using his conquerors outside, like just using his own haki to break himself out. And you've seen it in the manga, and you've seen it in the anime. The anime is a very good in-motion representation of just how busted Garp is. Even after just getting frozen solid, he broke out of it. Didn't need the Gura no Mi to do that. Even when his arm got frozen to solid, he just powered up with haki and it broke the ice. No adverse effect left on his person until he allowed himself to get injured by Shiryu and by Kuzan in order for everyone else to get away. Devil fruit powers really don't matter much to a person who has a maximum mastery over haki. And that includes devil fruits that are Logia that also function as just like natural elements like lava and light and ice and basically everything in between. So, yeah, Akainu's devil fruit powers wouldn't have mattered to Garp at all. So, You putting a smile on your face right now? Well, that means I'm doing my job. So, we get back to Rox talking down to Emu, even though Emu is towering over him. You gotta love that sort of wordplay. You can talk down to someone even if they're much larger to you. And he says, "You got the wrong guy. I've never even met him. However, promises are meant to be kept." And by saying this, he is saying, like, yeah, all those years ago, where I was in your most sacred of places, chilling in your room of flowers, laid up on the side, like paint me like one of your French girls, and with a gun in hand, threatening your life, and I promised you that we would meet again. Yeah, I'm following up. Since you here, I might as well follow up on what I said to you. And he said, because here's the thing. Rox stands on business. Now, I know, and I've been hearing a lot of things because I talked to people from Roger's base's side. I talked to a lot of people. And apparently, some people have had it in their heads that Rox is a good guy simply because of the good-natured things that he does on occasion. But people need to remember that this guy is a pirate who had no trouble killing an admiral, setting fire to towns, burning ports, leveling entire nations, destroying an entire kingdom, kidnapping kidnapping kings and trying to hold them for ransom, and so many other crimes that it actually had to be wiped from history because they were so heinous. Rox is not a good guy. He may do a lot of things that may seem good, like being honorable, but that doesn't necessarily make you a good person. So I had to correct that because Rox is still a bad guy at the end of the day. But you can be a bad guy, but still have a heart. But not too much of a heart where you actually want to change your ways. So he's still a bad guy. It's just that a lot of stuff that he does resonates with people. That's the thing. Like him being friends with Harold up to a certain point, despite the fact that the dude wanted to be affiliated with the world government, and we all know how bad the world government is. He still was like, hey, don't y'all ever try to raise a hand to Harold, otherwise you're going to deal with me and I will dust you off. I will dust you off. And he said this to Kaido. So he's honorable. He has a sense of honor about him, but that doesn't necessarily make him a good person. He's out there trying to rescue his wife and son. That's good, but that doesn't make him good. Because he would still go right back out there being a pirate, pillaging and ransacking towns and doing whatever he wanted to, filling out his cheat sheet, not his cheat sheet, but a rap sheet of everything wrong he has done. So they're not good. They are not good. Pirates in general in this series are generally not good at all, but it's from their perspective that they seem like good people in comparison to the world government, who are supposed to be the good guys, and they're bad. They are straight up evil. I don't think we can say any of the pirates are good guys. Even the Straw Hats themselves admit that they aren't heroes. I'd best say they are morally gray. Yeah, they are. They are morally gray. Morally gray, chaotic neutral, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say chaotic neutral. Because at any moment, they could be the saviors of an entire nation. And in that same instance, they can be the people that basically kidnap the king and hold him for ransom in order to get what they want. So for the Straw Hats, I'd say they are chaotic neutral. For Shanks and company, I'd say they are... Actually, it's kind of tricky to put Shanks and company in a category because they're not chaotic. They're not chaotic. I'd say they're just neutral in general. If you step to them, you're going to get dusted, but they don't go out of their way to actually harm other innocents. See, with Kid, he would just be straight up chaotic. Blackbeard pirates are chaotic bad, chaotic evil. So, but at the same time, there's not a pirate crew out there that exists that is just good. None of them are. But with Rox, people have had it in their heads that Rox is a good person simply because he has done a couple good things, and that doesn't necessarily make you a good person. This isn't a Wreck-It Ralph situation where it's all like, just because you are a bad guy does not make you a bad guy. But no, in Rox's case, he is a bad guy, and he is through and through a bad guy. But he's a bad guy with a heart, and that's the difference. But going back to this, I just went off on a full tangent. Please forgive me. So going back, Rox says, however, promises are meant to be kept. And Emu says, which is exactly why thy kind must be erased from history. My world is still incomplete. And then Emu goes to attack Rox, and Rox easily slices off Saturn's leg. So in Saturn's place, his body is being possessed by Emu, and Rox is just slicing into Saturn's body, and Saturn's all like, wait, we didn't discuss that my limbs were going to be getting cut off here. Shut up, I'm using your body, be quiet. But Rox is just going, it ain't your world. Then we got the Navy going like, look at Rox, he dares attack St. Saturn. Should we offer help, Rear Admiral? I don't. And then Garp goes, of course we're helping out, move it. Vice Admiral Garp! Huh? Wait a second, helping out which side? And it just shows Garp smiling because he knows exactly who he's trying to attack. So it cuts to more Navy trying to kill more pirates who are stealing more stuff. And then we get Captain John going, saying it's wild because he's got people gathering treasure for him, like an insurmountable amount of treasure, going, ready to start hauling? It's getting wild out there. Just say the word, Captain John. So long, Rox pirates. Because John saw all that treasure, he's decided to get himself a hefty amount for himself, and now he rolling out. This is the moment where Captain John's like, yeah, I'm done with the Rox pirates. I got what I wanted. And then we get Dragon going, what's happening over there? I hear screaming. And then Shanks is kind of letting out some cries, and Dragon is getting closer and closer to a Navy ship on the coast. There's a Navy ship through the trees. They'll be able to protect the child. But then he gets whisked away, and yes, I use the word whisked away into the air as metallic objects all over the place start getting drawn to one point, with the only person managing to keep their hands on their weapons being Gavin, holding on to his axes. All the metal is reacting to something. It's being pulled away from us, as it turns out that Captain John was a previous user of the Jiki Jiki no Mi before Kid. And he uses a move called Big Eater as he basically draws every single metallic object to himself, including some people who have yet to let go of their weapons. All the treasure, all the weapons, anything metal, he just draws immediately towards him. That's Captain John's magnet power. There's a powerful pull coming from the southeast entrance to the valley. And then we get Roger going, move it, let them figure that out. Roger! Stupid John. Sky Snake Red Cannon. And this is Ganjui, who we learn had the bomb fruit, which Mr. 5 would have later on in life. And he flicks what apparently is a booger that goes straight towards Captain John, kicking up a massive shockwave as it flies from this Sky Snake Red Cannon and hits Captain John directly, causing him to lose consciousness and allow all those metallic objects he was drawing towards himself to fall to the ground. And that includes Dragon, who's holding Shanks. Thankfully, he manages to keep Shanks from suffering any damage. And then we get Shiki going, Ganjui, why'd you shoot John? Do you really think he's gonna split that treasure with us? Each of those chests is worth at least 1 billion berries. And Shiki is taken back by all this. Anyone want to keep it all to himself. And that's when Shiki realizes, like, oh, really? Because not only does that happen, I didn't notice this. I thought he was reaching out a hand towards Shiki, but I'm now noticing that his finger is in a position for him to flick an explosive booger at Shiki, meaning that this is the moment where the Rox pirates start turning on each other. And then we shift away from Shiki and Ganjui over to Garp, who's running face first who's running straight towards where all the people are fighting Emu. With all of the Navy that was around him, me and my bro got confused on this panel. The one where Ganjui is saying anyone would want to keep it all to himself. That's Ganjui saying like anyone would want to keep it all to himself, and basically saying, you know how the bank robbers were turning on each other at the beginning of Dark Knight. That's essentially this moment right here. Ganjui attacks Shiki, right? Yeah. Because looking at Ganjui's hand, he's literally holding it in the same position that he was about to use Sky Snake Red Cannon against Captain John. So this is the moment where the greed of the Rocks pirates starts to overtake them all, except for Big Mom, and you find out why later. Except for Big Mom, this is when the greed of all of this starts to soak into the Rocks pirates, and they all start turning on each other. I think it's confirmed that Captain John makes it out of God Valley alive. Why else would Bucky be searching for Captain John's treasure at the beginning of the series? I mean, it makes the most sense. It's not like Captain John died at God Valley, and then God Valley was wiped off the map, and then somehow Gecko Moria was capable of getting his corpse. No, Captain John was able to get out of this place, die elsewhere, because weren't we told that his own crew turned on him? Yeah, it was told on us during the events of Thriller Bark that Captain John's own crew turned on him. They mutinied and they killed John. So yes, he does get out of here. So he may be incapacitated, but he doesn't die here. He dies elsewhere. And when he dies, the Jiki Jiki no Mi goes back into circulation, and then Kid gets his hands on it. So Ganjui turns on Shiki. Shiki's looking at him like, are you kidding me? You're trying to attack me? Then we shift from that to Garp running straight towards Emu and everyone else who's fighting. All the soldiers and Navy around him are holding on to him, trying to stop him from going. And there's literally like a daisy chain worth of people who are all trying to keep Garp from going over there. You can't, Vice Admiral. That's the supreme authority of the government up there. What, that vermin? That vermin? And everyone's screaming like, you can't say that! And then we have Rocks, Whitebeard, and Kaido going, let me try too, Rocks. And then we have someone screaming behind Kaido going, darn it, Kaido, wait right there! And it's Big Mom who's riding on top of Zeus, which is crazy to think that the only person that is actively alive, that has seen Emu from all of the Navy and all of the pirates, is Zeus and Garp. Think about that for a second. Zeus has seen the true ruler of the world. Because I think Big Mom also had Prometheus during this time as well. But she's riding on Zeus, and she's got her sword ready, going, I'm gonna kill you! And then Kaido goes, what are you, jealous? Check this out. And then Whitebeard starts charging up a Quake Punch. Rocks is charging up his own attack. Roger's charging up his own attack with Conquerors. And it also shows Garp doing the same thing with Conquerors as he prepares. As Roger goes, that's my quarry, Garp. And then Garp goes, Galaxy! And in what I would say is the most beautiful double spread panel that I've seen of One Piece in a long time. You want to know what I say? I want to say the last time we had a double spread panel that looked this epic, it was when the Gorosei were fully introduced in their demon states, when they first appeared on Egghead. It was just nothing but a seamless double panel showcasing their power, showcasing their forms. But here we have Roger, Rocks, Garp, Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard all unleashing their strongest attacks on Emu's body with Galaxy Impact, Divine Departure, Pandemonium, Chalk Hakua, which is the first time that Whitebeard's attacks have ever been named, Ikoku Sovereignty, and Dragon, which is essentially the former name of Bolo Breath of Kaido. They all unleash their strongest attacks on Emu. And mind you, they are using Haki with these attacks because Divine Departure is infused with Conquerors, Galaxy Impacts is infused with Conquerors, Pandemonium is more than likely infused as well, Ikoku Sovereignty infused as well. Can't say that a Dragon Fire Breath attack is infused with Haki as well, I can't say. But with Whitebeard using Chalk Aqua, they all hit Emu, and Emu's body starts to dissipate slightly, just pretty much obliterating the upper half of Emu's body. And when this happens, after all these attacks connect, Emu lets off this massive pulse of Conquerors that starts knocking out people all over the island. And the only members of the respective pirate crews who have a strong enough will are still conscious, but they're wondering, like, what's going on over there? Armageddon or something? I hope you can at least give a hint to the Straw Hats on the final war. I'm talking about Zeus. I know who you're talking about. But however, the same way that Frankie more than likely doesn't remember that he met Odin, who was a part of the Roger Pirates, and he never brings it up, I'm pretty sure this is probably like forgotten stuff because it was so long ago. Because I don't remember Zeus being the type of individual that would remember every single thing that he's encountered in his life. So I think it's more of an issue of, oh, this happened, but I kind of forgot about it. So it's one of those moments. So I'm not going to count on Zeus to give any sort of hint to the Straw Hat crew at all, but that's just me. So we cut to Dragon, who's holding Shanks, but finds out that Shanks has apparently learned a rudimentary version of substitution jutsu because Dragon is holding a log, a small log, instead of Shanks. And Shanks has found a chest of treasure that he's trying to crawl into as he's far away from Dragon right now. Thanks to Captain John getting knocked unconscious, all this treasure is out there, and Shanks is climbing into a chest for himself. But we get Emu's body that is starting to massively dissipate, with Kaido going, I can't spit out what I already eaten. And then Big Mom says, give me money then. And then it cuts to Emu saying, I can see them running through the distant forest. My blow did the trick. No, 'twas mine. Hey, are you talking about New Davies, a woman and child, striving so very hard to live, a pestilence that must not be unleashed upon the world? Because Emu is capable of zooming in and focusing on Eris and Teach. He knows they are close by. Whatever you're thinking, don't do it. And then Rox flies into the air and cuts into Emu's body several times, reducing it to small pieces. But this also allows Emu to cause these spiky tendrils to come out and then puncture Rox's body directly. Whatever you're thinking, don't do it. Mu, I will do nothing. Thou wilt end thy own bloodline, slaughter thy wife and child. And Rox is all like, what is this? It doesn't even hurt. Slaughter thy wife and child. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna. Domi reversi. So, it appears that you don't actually need to be on a summoning circle created by Emu for you to be turned into a demon by Emu. Because apparently Emu can do it directly if Emu is directly in physical contact with you. There, it just happens instantaneously. And Roger, Garp, and Whitebeard all look up as they witness Rox being turned into a demon while his wife and child run away. And those are the 2 chapters that we got of One Piece during the month of October. 2 chapters that were, as I would like to say, very, very good. They were very good chapters. And I'm glad we didn't get too many chapters this month because one, Oda wasn't feeling too well for one Sunday and we had to take an unexpected break then. But also, I feel like with these, you don't want to oversaturate a month with too many good chapters all at once because then that would start to set an expectation that the next month will be the exact same. And we don't know how the pacing is going to go for what's about to happen. But what is about to happen is we are about to witness the final moments of Rox. Now, Obviously, because I don't look it up, I don't know what to expect from the next chapter of One Piece at all. Neither do I want a hint of any kind because that'll just sully my reaction for Sunday as a whole, which is a reason why I stay off of anything One Piece related. Unless it's something about One Piece Power Warriors 4 that we haven't got any news for! My expectations for the next chapter is that we start to witness the end of Rocks, the end of the God Valley incident, the moment where Roger and Garp team up with each other, and we see the complete dissolution and dissolvement of the Rocks pirates. Granted, there's already infighting. They're all trying to betray each other already. So we're witnessing the downfall of the Rocks pirates right now. However, seeing Rocks beaten seeing Rocks beaten will be that moment where the Rocks pirates are officially no more. And the question that scares me the most is we've seen how strong Rocks is. And I brought this up during my last reaction earlier this past Sunday. Oh, hold on. Family's calling me. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Okay, so my expectations for the next chapter is well, no. Going back to what I was saying, we have witnessed the strength of Rocks. We have witnessed the strength of Rocks in the fact that basically not that many people could beat him. He was insanely strong, even capable of fighting an ancient giant like Harold, who also was a proficient user of Conqueror's Haki, and they fight each other to a standstill. But he was incredibly powerful, even able to briefly subdue Harold to a degree. So it speaks to his level of strength just how much of a threat he is going to be now that he has been Domi reversied. Which, with the thing with Domi Reversi, actually, you know what? No, I'm not even going to bother looking it up. I'm just going to go off of memory because I don't want to see anything premature. The thing with Domi Reversi is when a person is turned into a demon by Emu, they gain an even higher level of strength than when they were just a normal human being or normal giant, as is the case with Dorian Bragi. When they were transformed, they grew larger and they grew way more powerful. Now, the thing is, we didn't see Emu say Dark Covenant, which would have made Rocks immortal. That's the difference. He didn't receive the Dark Covenant, but he did get turned into a demon, which would increase his power. It is essentially a transformation that turns a person into a subservient berserker, but not to a degree where they just go off the hinges and just attack everything that's near them. No, they still have some thought. They still have some cognitive control, but not to the degree where they will attack the person that gives them orders. So, we didn't get a Dark Covenant to go along with Rox's transformation, so he's not going to be immortal, but he will be turned into a demon, and that will exponentially increase his strength to the point where all these powerful individuals are going to have to fight him now, and this is going to be a Rox who is under the control of Emu, powered up even further, and everyone fighting Rox. Will this be the moment where Whitebeard receives the scars on his chest that we see him have later in life, or will that come from another spot? Will this be the moment where Roger and Garp team up with each other to bring down rocks? I mean, obviously, this is going to lead into it. You have a tragic panel in your head of Rox killing Eris as she sacrifices herself to save Blackbeard. That seems like it could be the case. That seems like it could be the case. Because that would be heartbreaking for Rox to not be able to control himself, and he goes after his wife and son. And all Teach can see is a monster of his dad coming after them. So that's a scary thought. But my thing is, we are nearing the end of the. My thing is, we are nearing the end of the God Valley incident, and I have to say that I have enjoyed this whole stint of the story. I have enjoyed the entirety of the God Valley incident ever since we saw it start with Garland killing the mother of his two sons, and then corralling all these people so that they could be targets to be hunted by the celestial dragons. All of this of Rox's history leading up to this moment, I have to say, are some of the best written parts of One Piece today. And I want to say I've enjoyed this flashback more than Odin's. Loki for Straw Hats, your honest take. He too big for the Thousand Sunny. That's my honest take. And given the fact that Loki looks down on humans, I don't think he's going to be quick to call the Straw Hats his Nakama at any point anytime soon. That's going to take some flushing, some cleansing of the brain, because his mentality is like, oh, if as soon as I get out of these chains, I'm going to destroy the world and destroy everything around me. That's literally his mentality. Now, the thing is, Luffy is not the type to do a talk no jutsu, so don't expect something like that, but I honestly feel like, sure, the thought is there, but people were saying that about Yamato, and we haven't seen Yamato. And granted, Yamato wants to be a pirate, but wants to embark on the journey for Odin, and thankfully, that's over now. It's over. It's over. The ogre child surrogate pilgrimage is over. So and it carried on for a long while. But I don't know. What I will say towards that is I want to see what Loki can do. I want to see what Loki can do first. Because I don't want it to be all like, oh, he's just a giant. What can he offer the Straw Hats? Well, he's a giant. We did see Yamato every week. I'm talking about, like, as far as, you know what I mean. I'm talking about, like, oh, the Yamato's just like, okay, we got Yamato, but it's like, the moment's not here. And people want Yamato to be a part of the Straw Hat crew, but we had to deal with Yamato going through his whole pilgrimage first. And we'll see where Yamato ends up after that. If Yamato wants to go with the Straw Hats and try and find them, okay, he can do that now. But with Loki, we have not seen enough. Because the most we've seen of Loki is him being chained up, his life as a baby. And I still think we need to see what he can do physical-wise, talent-wise. What can he offer-wise, other than like word of mouth of like, oh, I'll kill you and I'll kill them and I'll do this. And like, how dare you speak to me like that, human? Don't speak unless spoken to. I'm like, bruh, nah, there's not enough of Loki for me to say like, this is all his flashback, right? Just up until the point where he's speaking about when he ran up into Harold, because he definitely was not there to witness the God Valley incident. So this is a splice between Harold's flashback and Rox's flashback. As far as Loki goes, we only know about his life that he endured as a child, and then it shifted over to Rox and just focused on Rox entirely. So we still need to get back to Elbaf after the God Valley incident is over. Then we can start to see where Loki is mentally wise. And then once we get back to the presence, once Luffy has heard this story and where everything goes from here, that's when I'll give like a good disposition of whether or not he's worthy to be a Straw Hat or not. More than that, we still need to find out what sort of legendary devil fruit he got his hands on that was so sought after that had the Holy Knights try and recruit him to add that power to their ranks. So before I go on any sort of soapbox saying like Loki for Straw Hats, I need to see what Loki can do. Word of mouth is not enough. Word of mouth is not enough. Actions. If anyone can shift Loki's mentality, it's Luffy, not using talk no jutsu, but through his actions. That's how he convinces basically everybody. Just like through his actions. Because the thing is, and I love that Oda has stuck with this the entirety of the story, is that Luffy doesn't think. As far as like, we don't ever see Luffy thinking inwardly. Because you will not find a single moment where Luffy is having an inner thought. Or we see Luffy thinking to himself. We have never seen that. Ever. He's a man of action. He don't need to think and tell himself like, if I get this piece of meat, and I get that piece of meat, and I take Sanji's piece of meat and Zoro's pieces of meat, I'll have 4 pieces of meat all to myself. No, we don't have those moments. Luffy basically voices his thoughts. That's the reason why he's so bad at lying, because he can't help but just say what's on his mind. He don't think about stuff to that degree. So with Luffy, it's more so like Luffy did outright ask Yamato to join him like he did Loki. That's true, he did ask, but things have to happen first before these people can actually start to join. Yamato is more than willing to join the Straw Hats, and that's what people were really hoping for at the end of Wano, and we're summarily disappointed when Yamato says like, no, I gotta see what life Odin lived before I can continue on with this journey with you. And it's kind of like the same situation when Jinbei says like, there's some things I need to take care of first, but when I come back, will you accept me as a member of your crew? This is yet another example. So it's not like it's never going to happen. It's just that there were things in the way that needed to be taken care of first. In Loki's case, he's not mentally in a disposition where he's all like, I need to take care of this, or I need to process all of this before I join your crew. No, he is still in that rebellious phase. He's still in that vindictive phase. He's still in that phase where he sees himself as superior to anyone who is either a regular giant or even a mere human. And it's going to take this encounter in the present day with him watching Luffy fight earnestly. That is where it's going to probably change his disposition, or maybe even soften him up a little bit. But before any of that happens, we need to get back to the present. And with us getting closer and closer to the end of the God Valley incident, then we can shift over to Elbaf, find out what happens there, what leads to him running rampant out on the seas, getting beaten by Shanks, winding up chained to Elbaf, and thus bringing us back into the present day. That's the order I think things are going to go in. We're going to see the end of the God Valley incident, then we're going to see the aftermath, maybe the view of the world from after hearing that Rox is dead, or not even say that Rox is dead, just cover things up and make it seem like Garp is the hero and not acknowledge that Roger helped him become that hero, or be seen as that hero because of the events of the God Valley incident. Then we move away from the aftermath, move on to Elbaf, and see what happens in the daily life of Elbaf and its people. Then see the moment where Harold apparently may have an encounter with either the Gorosei or even Imu, gets turned into a demon and then killed by his own men, and that will be where we pick up with Loki's memories. Everything goes down from there. We find out the whole story from there, and then we go back to the present, get Loki's opinion on everything, get Luffy's opinion on everything, and then having that last chain undone. And then we move on to the overarching concern, which is the giant children being taken by, Salmers and Gunko being possessed by Imu, and figuring out what we're going to do there. All I can say is, I find it so funny how Nika is about to encounter Imu once again. And this is almost like a god versus devil moment in One Piece. That's It's funny how this is going to be a moment that happens before Saitama actually fights God in One Punch Man. I just find that kind of humorous to me. That's just me, though. But this is where we are with One Piece. We are witnessing the God. I had no idea that this story was going to be this crazy. To think we started this story with our main character in a barrel. Our main character started in a barrel and winds up and now has gone through so many things over the past 25, 26 years, has gone through so much in this story in just a short span of time. We've been with this story over 2 decades, and in the time of One Piece it's only been basically 2 years and something that's happened from the present day of One Piece all the way to up to where it is now. Just 2 years and some change. That's how much time has passed. And now we go from this dude who was stuck in a barrel, has the power of the Gum Gum fruit, turn into a literal god that can do whatever he wants, fighting literal devils. The sheer insanity of the series as a whole has always been one of my favorite things about this series, because no matter how crazy it just gets more fun that way. But I already gave my opinion on what I think is going to happen in the next series of chapters for One Piece. We're going to see the end of Rocks. We're going to see the aftermath of God Valley, if not the entire decimation of God Valley, so it's just completely wiped off the map. We're going to see the events leading back to Elbaf. We're going to see life in Elbaf again. We're going to see the moment where Harold is killed by his men. There's probably going to be some moments leading up to that beforehand. Then we're going to see the moment where Loki gets that legendary devil fruit power that we don't know anything about. That'll lead into him being an even bigger nuisance to his people than before. The moment where he gets beaten by Shanks. And then we get led up to the present day, and that's when we'll be fully done with this flashback. This monumentally important flashback. And then we'll sort out how we're going to deal with Emu taking over Gunko, and just what will happen when Nika and Emu clash after 800 years. That is crazy to me. Emu hasn't seen Nika in 800 years. And they're both about to encounter each other very, very, very soon. So I imagine there's going to be a massive amount of animosity towards this encounter. Hopefully they can get the children taken care of so they can get them out of those thorns and rescue them. I honestly can't wait to see how things turn out once we get to that point. But I don't want to overstep myself because we haven't even entered into November yet. And I honestly feel November is going to be a very, 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 I'm saying this on the 31st of October at 1:38 p.m. in the year 2025. I honestly feel November is going to be an incredibly fun month for One Piece readers. Not to mention, the One Piece anime will be going on break pretty soon. And we're going to be on break from January all the way until March. And then the One Piece anime as a whole will be shifting from its like big blockbuster surplus of episodes and reducing that number to basically almost half. But it's going to be focused on making them more in line with the manga and also heavily increasing the quality of these episodes as well. I don't mind the break. I just know that given the fact that we went on like a 6-month break for the One Piece anime, and granted, there have been some episodes of One Piece that have been absolutely phenomenal to look at. Some people may say pollution to the eyes, but those people are crazy and are therefore wrong. These high-quality episodes have been nothing short of just art. But there have been a sizable share of episodes where you can notice that some shortcuts were taken. So what I'm hoping for is that with this new approach to the One Piece anime that we're going to be getting next year, they fairly put emphasis on the quality of the episodes, but also give the artists plenty of time to rest so they can always bring their best when they come back and they do a brand new episode. And fewer episodes of One Piece within a year, that is going to probably take some getting used to. Because other than like the special in between episodes that we get when they go on break, you get a ton of episodes per year, a ton of them. And now we're going to be reducing that by a heavy amount. So we'll see how this whole new scheduling thing is going to work out next year and move on from there. But other than that, I just consider myself blessed that I get to read this story. I enjoy it. I really do. Sure, it has some of its moments where the pacing could be better, because I'm not going to pretend like One Piece is a perfect series where it gets nothing wrong, because it does get quite a few things wrong, but everything good about the series kind of makes up for it. It kind of balances itself out. Like to this day, I feel like Dressrosa was an incredibly long arc, and it probably could have been shortened up just a little bit. To this day, I cannot stand how many times I saw Fukuro Kuju versus Raizo so many times in several long chapters, and they never moved at all. And I'm like, what is going on here? How have y'all not done anything already? How is this one of the only fights that's still left in Wano before Kaido and Big Mom need to be beaten? It's still crazy to me that Raizo versus Fukuro Kuju was one of the longest fights, and they didn't do that much except hold each other with their ninjutsu. And it was like that for many, many chapters. So no, One Piece is not perfect, but it is very good. And I'm just grateful I get to enjoy it. Still waiting on news for Pirate Warriors 4. I'm so tired of the silence. I need to know who's coming with CP0 Lucci. I need to know. Can it be Bonnie and can it be Kuma? Because if you're trying to tell me, oh, we're going to have some random Seraphim like S Snake or whoever or Kaku, and I'm like, no, no, no. You can't give us these wonderful chapters of Kuma during his life and seeing just how great of a person he is, pretty much the most benevolent character in all of One Piece, and not make him playable. You can't give us the life story of Bonnie and us seeing just how powerful she can become and not give us a playable Bonnie. I don't care about playable Seraphim because they're just giant versions of their originals. If I wanted to play like a powerful version of Mihawk, but he's a child, I would rather play Mihawk. I would rather play Boa Hancock, not a giant clone of her. That's just my opinion. So I really hope it's just CP0 Lucci, it's Kuma, and it's Bonnie. I really would have loved to get Kizaru, Egghead Kizaru version where he was a speed type. Still, for the life of me, can't understand why Kizaru is a sky type. Because just because he can float in the air doesn't mean he actually flies. Can he just be a speed type? That's still one of the worst miscasts of the game, where the person who can move at the speed of light is not a speed type. That's like naming Ninjask from Pokemon, making them a ground type, but they fly. It's horrible miscasting. So, horrible typing as well. And I hope if we ever get another Pirate Warriors game, they kind of don't focus too much on the typing. But I'm talking about games here. Overall, for One Piece, I am happy for every facet of the series as a whole. Both the anime, the manga, the live-action Netflix show coming back next year. It looks really good. I can't wait to see what they do. And just basically anything else that they got going on as well. So I'm looking forward to it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think I said everything I wanted to say for this particular reflection simply because we only got 2 chapters, and it was fairly easy for me to get through this entire thing with me saying everything that I needed to say. Blue Arc, Shonen Sensei, and everyone else who's shown up here, even if you're just in the back lurking. Kitten 1 as well. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to today's session of One Piece Reflections. I said everything I needed to say. Now it's time for me to prepare for basically the rest of my day, because I am going to be busy for the rest of the day. Saturday, we'll have another chill day, getting back on Borderlands 4 so I can work on those side missions. There'll be some more moments where we play some more Goat Simulator, because I had no idea how funny and how crazy that game was going to be when I picked it up yesterday. And then we have a member summit coming up on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I believe the next November games come out, so I'll probably mess around with Stray, because that's on the lineup too. Leading up to Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. which comes out on the 6th of November. And I'll have an update video for all the things we're going to be doing on the channel, aside from what I say in the member summit, so everyone can be in the know about what we're going to be doing in November. And when November starts, that'll also be the month where I go back to reading Solo Leveling's light novel, but those will be put up on the Patreon because of, you know, contingencies, just in case my Solo Leveling series suffers the same fate as my T-Bait series as well. I'm also keeping an eye out for any T-Bait updates, so when that series comes back, I'll be able to react to that for you guys and put that on the Patreon as well. So that's just a list of things that I'm going to be doing. I'll have a lot more of a better lineup and a better idea of how to give you guys this update once I do my update video for November going forward. But that's all I got. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even consider supporting me on Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!